my modern cards. First up here, I'll go back to zoomed in approach here. First up here is I picked this up at trade night from a kid and his dad. It's a 97 certified, Pinnacle certified Epics insert. And this is the Emerald season. And you get that great lightning effect on this Emerald. Emeralds are supposed to be really tough. On the football, I'm not sure if the print runs are like the baseball. But either way, just a great looking card. And, I was willing to work with the kid on it. And it was fun to just pick up a card. Again, I buy cards sometimes from kids just because I'm like, hey, it's something I collect, but, it's just cool that they're hustling 90s cards. So I grabbed that from him. Next up is a 98 Crusade. I need this for my set. It's Cal Ripken. Again, it's a beautiful card. And the National 223 of 250. It's funny to make cards like this kind of an afterthought, but there were really nice 90s cards just floating around. It's hard to be like, like I heard this, like, there's no great 90s cards at the show. And I'm like, you just aren't trying to, to me, I think that is sort of like one of those, if people don't want to look hard, that's fine. But there were 90s cards like this at the show. I saw a ton of, 93 finest refractors. I saw a ton of, Bowman, Bowman's Best and refractors. And there was stuff there. So I'm just saying, like, I know, like, people, get upset when they look at, there wasn't the one cool 90s card I was looking for, but there was some there. And I think I have, here's an example. So from one dealer, now I did, since I was at SGC, I went ahead and just submitted a bunch of cards I had laying around here forever to SGC. But at one dealer's table, I just went through and he had some 90s cards laying out, and I just went ahead and picked them all up. I'm like, here's some, I know that's 2000, but a Scott Rowland game jersey. Here's a 2000 Skybox Premium, Brad Penny, numbered out of 50. Rubies. Here is a Jim Thome Credentials from 97. Jerry Rice Refractor, 99 Bowman's Best, Randy Johnson Refractor out of 400, 95 Kirby Puckett. So again, just cards like that are there if you really just want to get into some fun 90s cards. I found a lot of Barry Bonds cards. I mean, there was quite a few 90s cards that were there. So I think that was a myth. Like this card here was there. 2000. I know it's 2000, but it's very close. Stadium Club Luminescent Gem Mint 10. So I picked this up because it's so hard to grade these, and I love that refractor pattern. And I had a lot of people ask about this card, so I almost ended up selling it and trading it many times walking around. So I'll move into my last card here before going to Griffey's here. Was a card I never thought I would have a chance to trade for or buy at the show. There is two collectors, or a father and son, that are, basically the Godfather PMGs, all innate. From PSA, all his PMGs came from these two gentlemen. They collected these in 97 and were kind of a pioneer of getting this. He said that they purchased over 1,000 PMGs during the late 90s for less than $11 a piece. And because that was their weekly allowance to buy cards. Over 1,000 of them. They just bought every one they could find. They had, I think he said, over 8,000 PMGs at one point. Now they're selling. Nat Turner, his collection has been built around these guys. And slowly they're bleeding these cards out into the hobby. I couldn't get, like I don't have a Griffey, I don't have a Sanders, but I got one of my guys. And I was really stoked to get this. And here is the Reggie White. Just an amazing card. As soon as I saw it, he had 2 copies of this card, by the way, both graded as 7, which, by the way, 7 is a good grade for this card, honestly. A PSA 7, this card is tough. I've seen 4s, 5s, and 6s. This card does not have tons of chipping. There's a little bit right there, but the corners are pretty solid. I mean, the other 7 was missing part of the foil here. And the one thing about these all have kind of these sparkly, see that foily thing on the back. And every one of his cards kind of had that. This is number 131 of 150. So again, these cards are just insanely cool. I just, I don't know how to react, because this is a card that, these are Holy Grail cards. Anyone I showed this card to at the show just like kind of lost their mind for a little bit because it's just so like uncommon to see a player of his caliber at a show. And there was a 5 at the show, and the 2 7s that were walking around, because again, this wasn't on a dealer's table. This was just a collector walking around. And again, a lot of my cards were bought from collectors just walking around, not dealers. And that's why the National is important, and why it's cool to be there, why Facebook groups and the meetups and all that, and trade nights are important, is that you get to run into cards like this. But there was a 5 on the table, and what I paid for this card, that's what the guy wanted for the 5. So I felt good about, actually, he wanted more than what I paid for this card. So I felt good about it. I feel like it was a card that I would never have another shot at. And honestly, the person that had this card had so many great PMGs, Sanders, Smith, just all the players you could imagine, that if you had a big bankroll at that show and ran into him, you could have done some serious damage and got some great players, because they're for sale now. They're expensive, but you're probably getting one of the few chances to get some of these cards. And so I was just happy to grab it, and I didn't expect to get that card at that show. But that's what happens. You go to the National with a plan, and then that you run into that card, and you're like, oh, well, plans changed. So moving into the Griffey section. So first up, I'm going to show a card that I purchased from a dealer or an artist that I've dealt with at multiple shows now. And I really enjoyed talking to him. He's a cool guy, and I love his artwork. It's Brian Kong. He did this 89 rookies. This is the Topps rookies. This is, I think, from 1990. So this is like the 1990 Topps rookies from 89. I don't believe this. I think this card, the card it's based on, came out in 90. But anyway, he did a sketch card version of it. 101 AP. It's so he this is actually on a 2009 blank Topps sketch card. And if you do sketch cards for Topps, you get a bunch of blanks to do APs with to make some money, because they don't pay you much for your actual sketches. And so a lot of times these sketch artists will do their APs much more detailed and sell them for a higher dollar amount. And so this is that example. You can see authentic sketch card by Brian Kong. And it's just a great, and graded 9.5, which is kind of an added bonus. But I just love that card. And I saw it, and I'm like, that is a cool sketch card. If he'd have had a Poison Ivy or another player I would collect it, I would have grabbed it. Next up is I got it from a collector, I think hoodies, Tate. And he had some great Griffeys. It had the SP Top Prospect Auto out of 10, 2 copies of it. Wanted $30,000 for that SP Top Prospect Auto out of 10. Which was a great looking card. I've never seen it before, so I was excited just to see it. But I did not end up getting it, because obviously that would have taken a lot of my budget, or all of it. But this is the I believe it's 99 Pacific Revolution premiere date, Ken Griffey Jr., which is an amazing looking card. These are so underrated, these specific cards. And this is number out of 49. And the cool thing about these cards is they're stamped premiere date right in the middle. So they do have sort of a cool stamping on them that makes them, so you have kind of two ways to authenticate the card. It's serial numbered plus it's stamped. And it's just a great looking card. So 90's Griffey number to 49 for not a ton of money because, again, Pacific cards just aren't worth what tops are. Another card I ran into was this card here. And just a crazy card to run into at a show like this because they're kind of ghost and you don't see them very often. But it is the 1997 Score Hobby Reserve Collection Going Yard Griffey. From what I understand, that Series 1 and Series 2, the Hobby Reserve or the Tiffany version had two different sets basically. And I believe this was Series 2 that had the Reserve Collection cards in them. These have a texture to them. I'm trying to show it off right there. So they have this kind of raised texture on them. They were, I believe, one per box back in the day. And the Reserve Collection was like their version of Tiffany. It was like the high-end short print base card version. And then this was the insert or parallel of that set. The Frank Thomas of this card, two of them just sold. A raw just sold for like $850 and a graded copy just sold for $1,700. And so I picked this up basically for cheaper than that raw copy just sold for Frank Thomas. I think I did a pretty good job on getting this card. But again, this is one of those cards that is in a set where you see commons in this set, or like a Will Clark or someone like that sell for $400 or $500. So I don't know the true value of this card because there's no real comps on it, especially recent comps. And so I grabbed it just as, knowing what those other cards had sold for. And I think it's a cool card, and maybe I did a great job, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. It's one of those cards that you don't ever see. And I went ahead and took a chance on it. I think I did okay. And I've had a few Griffey guys tell me, dude, that card is a ghost. A lot of people were looking for it. So I'm glad I picked it up. Here's a card I picked up at trade night. First night, I was there Thursday night. The guy walking around had a bunch of great cards in his box. I picked up the 96 Circa Rave, first year Rave. So I love the foil, the blue kind of color match. These are numbered out of 150. So there you go. Again, another 90's Griffey numbered close to 100, which is sort of the grail number. Very cool. And yeah, again, guy walking around had this card. It's an 8. These cards do chip quite easily. See right there, some chipping. So I'm just glad to have the card. I have no plans of popping it out of that holder anytime soon. Another card. This is from a dealer at the show, and I bought it because I liked the autograph. I thought it was strong. I used to have this full set. I sold it back when I was moving to New York. I sold it and my no name on front, Frank Thomas. So kind of sad that those cards all went away before the big bump. But, sometimes you have to sell cards. I did sell cards at this show, for both to buy other cards. But my kid's in school now, and so I'm just trying to build up a little reserve for that kind of event. But it's the Ken Griffey Jr. 94 Upper Deck, the Griffey by itself auto. It's a good, strong auto. There is a little bit of that right there. But these cards are tough to get 10 autos on. I don't care about the 10 auto anymore. I used to be, it has to be perfect auto, but they're hard to get, and a lot of them are in permanent collections. I'm just glad to have one of these cards now. The dual mantle obviously is a big card, but just to get the first one in this set of 3, I'm just glad to finally get one of them. And here's the back. So first one down, I put it in my own little holder, and I just love it. So again, this goes into my Griffey 90's on-card auto collection, as that was a big hole in that collection. Next up is a card that was just at a dealer's table. They had just bought it that day, but I actually found a second copy in that room as well. That was that was priced $2,000 more than what I paid for this one. So I think I did a good job of what I paid for it. C99 UD Choice Star Quest Gold, a number out of 100. And a great PSA 8.5. I believe the other one was like a 6. So 65 out of 100. This is a card in a set that I've always kind of drooled after. I've never owned any cards in the set of any player. Because even commons, I've seen people want $300 or $400 for like a Hall of Famer, like, you know, like I've seen, well, I mean, I use Will Clark, but like his card's a little different. But like a Vlad Guerrero, you know, just, you know, a lot of money for the set. People love these cards. And yeah, they are very attractive. And yeah, A5 was a good grade. I know it's BGS, but still, this card doesn't have, you know, a ton of chipping. They are very easily chipped. So I feel like it's just for the permanent collection. And yeah, this was like kind of like just fun to run into at the show. So and then my last two cards are the big Griffey pickups. These were not from dealers. These were from a collection that was graded at the show. The story is, and again, the Griffey group, the message board group on Facebook was awesome. You know, there was a collection being graded at the show. Everyone kind of was like wanting to see what the grades are, if they graded certain ways. Some people wanted the cards, other people, you know, so it's kind of like everyone was kind of angling for who was going to pick these cards up, or if the dealer, or if the guy was even going to sell them. I ended up being able to pick these two up from them, and they are like, you know, top 10 Griffey cards for me, both of them. And they're probably on most people's top 10 list for Griffey cards. So I was able to pick up two probably top tier, top 10 Griffey cards at one time. First up is the Established. And I've said this forever. This is probably in my opinion, the most attractive insert set made of the 90s outside of the 97 embossed gold refractor. I think it's number one and this is number two. I love this set. It is super attractive. I just think it's just great. There are grade 8, and there are a couple of spots on the surface where, you know, just these cards scratch so easily. So I understand that. But there's that amazing back. I mean, think about it. In a few years, Fleer was able to out refractor and out class what Topps is doing. This card, it's just crazy cool looking. If it would have graded higher, I probably would have actually had no shot at it, because some of the collectors who wanted this card wanted it in that higher grade, and were willing to pay a lot for it. So grading like this actually helped me to actually be able to even grab it. But yeah, so getting the Established, and which is cool because now I have the pair. I've got both the Frank Thomas and the Griffey. Ooh, it's kind of laying around a little bit, a little dirty, but there we go, both copies. So I've got both my guys. I know there's a Jeter in this set as well. So, but yeah, there we go, both the Frank Thomas and the Griffey, both 8s. So super duper excited. I mean, that is it's hard for me to believe. I mean, it's still, this is like a shot card, you know, like to be able to get this card. But then I was able to get this next card, which fits into not only my top 10 Griffey cards of all time, but it fits into my refractor set. If you've been on Instagram, you kind of know what this card is, but still, it's just awesome. Love this card. The Man Refractor from 98. Obviously, you know, this is on the want list of most people for Griffey's, and it's just, again, top 10 attractive cards. And a lot of people would tell you, or would say that this is the most attractive Griffey refractor of all time, above the 97 embossed. And just for me, the 97 embossed, I put it above it, but it's, some people, this is number one. And it's definitely in that top tier card. This card just sold in a 10 for over, I think, 15,000. So I graded an 8. So again, it worked out in my favor a little bit. This is card number 27 of 75. There was a collector that was like tracking these, so he wanted to know what my serial number was. So yeah, you get these two together, and this was a lot of my budget went to these two cards, obviously, and so it was a great Griffey pickup day. But again, if I just bought cards from the dealers that were there, I would not have had these two cards. I would have just probably walked away with the Griffey Auto and the Star Quest Gold, which would have been an awesome show. But having the inventory cards I had there to sell, pre-selling, and then knowing the folks in the Griffey group and being part of that message board allowed me to get these two cards. And I think so the pre-planning, the networking, and just being there allowed me to add two cards to my collection that are just amazing. I'm just super stoked that they're there. And I wanted to show off so here's the Thomas. Again, a little dusty, but now I've got both the Frank Thomas and the Griffey. So, and the Thomas is a 9, so but there it is, guys. That's my national. There are some other cards I picked up that are, again, I said that are being graded because they are in a state that need to be graded. So what I mean by that is I picked up the last Moses Yellow Horse Z-Net I needed for my set of 3 cards. He only has 3 cards, and that's the last one. But that card is so fragile that I wanted it graded. So the 23 and 24 Z-Nuts are being graded. I was also from the same dealer. He had some other Native American cards from the Z-Nut set that I picked up from him. So those are being graded. And then I picked up one of the Sporting News inserts of Chief Bender, and that's very fragile. And so that's actually at PSA being graded along with those T3s. So I picked up the Eddie Collins T3, and that's being graded along with Tommy Leach that I brought with me, and the Chief Bender. Andy at Indy Sport Card Exchange is doing that for me because we missed the cutoff at PSA. We actually didn't get there in time. On Sunday, they closed down grading early, so we just had Andy submit it for us. And then with SGC is a lot of those other cards I talked about, that are being graded by SGC. The E91s I picked up, the Z-Nuts I picked up. Those are all being graded by SGC. So I'll have a big SGC reveal video coming up probably in 2 weeks. And then PSA, who knows when I'll get those back, 3 to 6 months when I get those cards back. But that's it, guys. I mean, it's a long video. Hopefully you hung in there. A lot of cool cards. And it's hard to tell you what I think is my favorite. I mean, obviously the 3 big cards I picked up, were the Cy Young and the 2 Griffeys here. But a lot of the little cards, some of the other pre-war cards, the T227 Mark Hard. I mean, it's just a great looking card. It's just a lot of fun to game plan and then execute a plan and actually have some things fall into place. And then to get some surprise cards. I never thought I would get that Reggie White card. So, but that's like being in the right place, right time, and have enough resources. And again, I didn't spend any money out of my, let's say my personal funds. These were all cards I bought by selling other cards. So that's what I did. That's the pickups. Me and Doug will be doing a video tomorrow night, going over our experience together and just kind of like thoughts about the hobby, the show, what we're seeing there, and just other insights. But this is my pickup video. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time on Cards and Comics. Bye.